In this video, I'm going to describe to you how to add a layer that adds color to a black and white image. And it's going to be in a layer, so you'll have some control about how it adds that color. Several steps, so I'm going to jump right in. Okay, the first thing we need to do is select the parts of the image that we want to add color to. We need to do this with a selection, and we're going to do this the way we've done before by using the Magic Wand tool. I want you to put the Magic Wand tool in your hand, and then don't click anywhere in the image because the only part of the Magic Wand tool we're going to use is Select Subject, at least for now. So click Select Subject. You'll get the marching ants all around this image of the sweater. And then you'll see that Select Subject has messed up in a few places, okay? So we're gonna quickly fix that by using Select and Mask. If I click Select and Mask, it's gonna give me a chance to repair these areas. I'm gonna hold the Alt or Option key down. If you're on Mac, it's Option. If you're on PC, it's Alt. So if you hear me say Alt, I might mean Option. Okay, and then I'm also going to scroll this to the middle using the space bar. Okay, so in order to fix this up, I'm going to quickly use the lasso tool and then again hold the Option or Alt key down, and I'm going to select the area I want to cut out of what's going to be colored. The white areas are going to be colored, the red areas are not. So we're going to try to make a selection to clean that up as best as we can. And then we're going to refine it with the Refine Edge brush tool, which will do a pretty good job of quickly fixing this image. Okay, I need to do the same thing with the sleeve, I believe, over here. Yep, the sleeve needs to be fixed. So again, I'm holding down the Option key, and I'm going to select the parts that it missed, and then I'm going to use the Refine Brush tool to clean that up. Done. Okay, now I click OK, and now I'm going to zoom back out. All right, there's my sweater with the selection. Now to be extra careful so that I don't lose this selection, I'm going to click Channels over here, and then I'm going to click the rectangle with the circle cut out of it, which will save my current selection as an alpha channel. An alpha channel is a black and white channel that just remembers what your selection was for you, so you can come back to it later. So just in case, for instance, if I click with the Magic Wand tool by mistake, and look, see how I've lost my marching ants? Okay, all is not lost because I saved my selection in the alpha tool. And the only thing I need to do to get it back is under channels, click on that alpha channel that I created, and click on the marching ants circle, which will load the channel back as a selection. Okay. And then I'm going to turn back on the RGB channel and I'm going to hide my alpha channel. Okay. So that's just a way to save the selection so that I can come back to it later. Because often I will click wrong and make a mess. Okay. So I've got the sweater and I've got the marching ants around the parts that I want to color. Now I'm going to go to the layer menu and choose a new fill layer. And I want a solid color. So I'm going to choose the solid color option. It names this layer Color Fill 1, and it gives me the option to use the previous layer to create a clipping mask. So I'm going to use the previous layer, which has a selection in it, to create a clipping mask. And we'll see how that goes. Okay, now it's going to ask me for the color that I want, and I'm going to choose this red color and click OK. All right, now I've got the red color filled in where the sweatshirt was, but I can't see the sweatshirt. Of course, I can always turn the layer off and see the sweatshirt underneath. But I want the color to show the sweatshirt's details through it. And to do that, I need to change the opacity of this layer. So you'll see the opacity value, which is by default, it's 100%. And I'm going to play with this slider until I like the way the background is showing through. All right, I'm not completely happy with that, but I've still got another couple of tricks to play with here. I'm going to select the background layer, and I'm going to add an adjustment layer to it, as we've done in the past, for brightness and contrast. And I'm just going to take the defaults. Now look at what I've got in my layers. It's important, the order of the layers is important here. Brightness and contrast is doing non-destructive editing on the background layer, which is where my sweatshirt image is. And then on top of that, I have a color fill layer that has a mask that is only allowing the color to be applied to the white areas in that mask. You can see the outline of the sweater in that, which is why my sweater is red, but the anything outside of the sweater is not red. All right, why did I create this brightness and contrast layer? Because I'm going to adjust the contrast of the sweatshirt. Now it's a subtle difference, but I'm going to turn the contrast all the way up so that the details stand out more. And then I'm going to play with the brightness. So this is actually darkening the background layer, but you can see that I can kind of see more of the details if I make it a little bit darker. All right, I'm going to darken it until I get something that shows more details from the sweater. Then I'm going to go back to the color fill layer and play again with the opacity. So more opaque means more just flat red. Less opaque means I see more detail, but I see less red. I'm just going to pick a place where I think it's a nice balance between the colors that I chose. I can always go back and change the color by double clicking on the color fill layer where the color shows in that rectangle. For instance, I could actually make this green. This could be a green sweater. And I can actually make that decision at any time. Because I separated out these layers, I can choose what to do. And, I can even do it after I've already done some editing. All right. That's how to apply color in its own layer on top of a black and white image.